We're with Ray Rankis, former Lehman College great from the early 70s here as we're waiting for the start of the City College Lehman Lightning men's basketball game. I mean, what can I say? The game, you've been involved in the game forever. You know, as a young man, as a college student, as a coach, as an administrator. How has the game changed over the years?
I think it mirrors a lot what we see in the pro game in the sense of it's much more perimeter driven. But the other part is the game hasn't changed. We were watching the women's game and we're cheering like crazy. You watch the emotions. You see CCNY being devastated by the loss. You see Lehman being enervated by the win. And you just see good basketball and the competition, the desire, and the vagaries of the game never change.
Now, I mean, big change this year in terms of the women's game going to 4 quarters. You know, how soon is the men's game going to follow?
The men's game, I think, has always been a little bit slow. They finally went to the 30-second clock, which I think is very valuable. But I think in one sense it helps the coaches because it gives you a built-in timeout,
right,
and it lets you rest your better players. In the other sense, you have people who are maybe you're forced to play more players if there isn't that built-in TV timeout or just timeout.
Now, you know, the game certainly changed a lot, or hasn't changed, as you would say, from the time you played. Shot clock, three-point shot, you know, back in the days of, you know, Pete Carell holding the ball forever. Now you can't do those sorts of things. You know, your Baruch teams were, you know, always a high-level team in the CUNYAC conference. And now as an administrator at Baruch, how have you been able to keep that going?
Being an administrator isn't that big a deal. I got to be honest with you. You know, you delegate a lot, especially the stuff that you don't want to do, and then you make sure you meet with your people every day or every other day to find out what's really on their minds, and you encourage, you make sure they're out there recruiting. But the bottom line is it's still just a game. You need to remind people and say, okay, we lost. We played our hard. We played our best. You take it from there. But at Baruch, we've been fortunate that we rarely have turnover in coaches. So you've got people who really like what they're doing, and they're underpaid. When you're a Division III head coach or assistant coach, you're underpaid, and you're doing it for the love.
Got to be special for you. You know, I see a bunch of guys you played with in the stands sitting with you here. How often do you guys get together, and do you guys talk to each other?
We get together a lot, and this is the magic of the internet and texting and everything. We're like teenage girls, you know, like or teenage boys. You know, we're constantly communicating. We're sending articles. In fact, this past Saturday, they were all supposed to be over at my house, but the snowstorm kind of canceled it. And then last year at the Alumni game, we had a special 40-year anniversary, which just was wonderful. And Marty just laid out everything perfectly for us. We've always been a tight group. I think that's atypical. But the reality is we had a good group of guys, and we're always there for each other.
Now, do you think being such a tight group was instrumental in being so successful on the court as well?
Oh, absolutely. We were actually reminiscing about, you know, like a couple of the guys say, you know, like this is the first time they ever had too much to drink. I'll keep giving you the G-rated version. But we kind of almost mandated after Thursday or Friday practice, everybody comes out. You didn't have to drink or anything. Everyone comes out. We have a good time. We just hang. And so many of us have been best men and gone to everybody's wedding. We're very tight. Love is a real word.
Those were the days when the drinking age in New York was 18. Though,
oh, yeah. Yes, it was. Yes. I don't want to get in trouble as an administrator.
Right, because I grew up in New York too, and I was right on that cusp. It changed right around when I was 18. But it was a fun time growing up. This being the city game, talk a little bit about, we had Ed Hurwitz on during the women's game. What has he meant to CUNYAC and to the city?
Teddy Hurwitz, besides having played at CCNY, he's my freshman coach and assistant coach, and later he was the varsity coach after I graduated. And he's just one of those people that we find in CUNY that gives back. And he made you want to come to practice. He made you want to learn. He was, not only was he a brilliant teacher, but he was a good motivator. And those things, even off the court, to get the right word of inspiration or the right reminder, because what happens is, as a coach, you're always their coach. So Teddy's always my coach.
Absolutely.
And I'll call him up, and he just knows the right thing to say to kind of get you going.
Well, it's been great reminiscing with you, catching up with you.
Yeah.
I'll let you enjoy the game. I'll get back with Sean Couch and bring all the fans the second half of the game.
You guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ray. Good seeing you.